What is the best arrow tip for hunting? Is it the fixed blade? Is it the mechanical? I don't know. Why don't we shoot both into some ballistic gel and see which one performs the best? All right, so what we have here is 4 different fixed blade arrowheads and 4 mechanical arrowheads. It's pretty straightforward. It's not a misnomer of how and why they're different. Fixed blade it's literally just a solid piece of metal that's crazy sharp, and it attaches to the front, and this is your arrowhead. The mechanical has moving parts. That's the big difference. The mechanical does something when it impacts your target. Now, there's some hunters that use one, some hunters that use another. You have to have enough kinetic energy for the mechanism for this mechanical blades to expand when it hits the target. Some high poundage shooters, you'll see mechanical heads on them. In some instances, there's some states that there's some restrictions around using mechanical heads for hunting. There's a variety of different arrowheads, both in the mechanical and fixed blade. And we're gonna be shooting 4 of the most common of both categories, and one of which is like this really cool prototype from Archery Country. Tyler and some VIP hunters there have designed it. This is one that I've personally hunted with countless times. This is the kudu. I don't know how many animals I've put on the ground with this exact one. Super simple, literally just like a knife attached to the tip of your arrow. This is a big difference when you're talking about kinetic energy. When you're shooting a rifle, obviously you have this tiny little projectile that leaves, and all of the energy that it's carrying is attached to just the head, just the projectile. When it comes to an arrow, you have your arrowhead, but then behind it you have this big, huge shaft. In this case, this is a 5mm full metal jacket. So the entire shaft of this arrow is going to be driving force when this hits. So am I saying that mechanical is better or that fixed blade's better? I'm not. It's all gonna be up to you, but what we are gonna do is get right into how this performs both in ballistic gel, and we have something pretty awesome. In addition to the ballistic gel, which we're gonna shoot all 4 and 4, 8 total arrows into it to see what that wound cavity looks like. We also have the QuivAR, the QuivAR, this augmented reality. It's a brand new target from Reinhardt. And so you have this big elk, and the elk has sensors inside of it. In the app, it shows us wound cavity, penetration, how it hits, skeletal structure, muscle, organ, all of that is given to you as a shooter through the app. And we're gonna be shooting these into that. So we're gonna have really 2 fascinating data points. That Reinhardt QuivAR is brand new. That thing just dropped. I don't even know if anybody's done like reviews on it yet. So we'll have screen captures and screen videos of the app so we see how it performs. But first and foremost, we're gonna shoot all of these into the ballistic gel. So here we go. Let's see which one does better. All right, so this is the Archery Country. This is a prototype. Tri-blade bleed with little bleeders on it. Tri-blade with little bleeders on it. Say that 5 times real fast. This thing's scary. There we go. Arrow number 1.
Man, could you imagine this nearly 500 grain fixed knife slamming into you? Well, the arrow went straight through the gelatin and created a pretty good sized cavity wound, impaled itself into the backstop. I mean, performance is fantastic.
The Muzzy Trocar. So this one is industry standard. It's been around for forever, tried and true, very well known, again, 100 grain.
Similar to the very first arrow, it went straight through, and we're beginning to think that every arrow was going to do so.
Next, we have the G5 Montac. This is one of the most popular arrows over the last 10 years. Super simple, 3 blades, pretty straightforward. All of these are 100 grain.
Again, it went straight through just as all the others. We're starting to see some really similar performance across all of these arrowheads. They're all very effective.
Last but not least is the kudu point. This was my introduction to fixed blade. This is the first thing that I ever hunted with, 100 grain. You talk about a simple design. It's just a knife attached to the tip, the point of an arrow.
Awesome performance. Obviously, I have an affinity to the kudu. I've used it in hunts. All the ones that we tested, it had the deepest penetration, but it did have the smallest wound cavity.
All right, so all 4 of our fixed blades performed frighteningly well. All of them had real similar velocity and feet per second on the chrono. All 3 of them would have zipped right through that poor turkey. The one that had the deepest penetration was the last one that we shot, which was the kudu. If you see all 3 of these, they have 3 blade tips. This one has bleeders on it. And so this one has 1/3 less surface area than these other 3. So it makes sense that it went about 1/3 deeper than these. All of them are gonna carry the same amount of energy into the target. And then once they hit the target, we're in wound cavity. Do you want penetration or do you want a larger hole? I don't know. It depends on the enemy. The enemy. Depends on the animal, and it also depends on shot placement. So like not saying shooter choice, but I again, just like with a round, like a bullet, shot placement really does become everything. I was really impressed. The high speed, looking at the performance of these into that poor ballistic gel. Woo! That is a lot of energy. Pretty cool. So fixed blade does really, really well. Pretty dependable. Not a lot can go wrong. There are some advantages of using mechanical. So we are shooting 4 very well-known, very popular mechanical arrowheads. I have never shot mechanical. This is not something I was really into. I don't know why. It makes sense. So I'm kind of excited to see how this performs. I'm really excited to see like what that wound cavity looks like. I'm really excited to see penetration. I do, there shouldn't be a big difference in our velocity, but all 4 of these are 100 grain. We'll go one by one and see how they perform. All right, this is the Rage Tri-Pan. This is one of the most popular in the last 10 years for mechanical broadhead. Man, it just looks freaking frightening. This thing is scary. So definitely do not have the same penetration as a fixed blade. It did go all the way through the turkey,
yeah, it did.
But got proper opening. Oh, look, this angle right here, you can literally see the blades open in the ballistic gel.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
This is a collaboration from John Dudley. Just like our fixed blade, all of these are 100 grain to include this one. Crazy sharp. These are like razor edges. One of the drawbacks to mechanical is you have to have enough energy to pivot this little hinge right here to open up the mechanism to expand the wound cavity. It's one of the things that people, one of the darts that are thrown on it. I'm not gonna speak to it. John Dudley is one of the most successful bow hunters in history. I'm like him and Cameron Haynes. These are, him throwing his name on this, that speaks to the effectiveness of this arrowhead.
Can you imagine being this turkey, just a blob of gelatin, and just keep getting slammed and hammered by these 500 grain arrows with knives attached to the end?
Might have passed judgment a little early on mechanical, because that is ridiculous.
But look at the size of the hole, though. The cut.
It's crazy. That one, seemed to have gone as deep as the mechanical.
Mm-hmm. You mean the fixed?
The fixed. So this is the top of the line from Sever. This thing is, as you can see, when these blades come out, dude, this I can't even wrap my head around what that's gonna feel like. Woo! Anyways, we did not spare any expense making sure that we are bringing really the best, the newest, the fanciest arrowheads to demonstrate their effectiveness. This one's no different. This 100 grain, top of the shelf, SEVR arrowhead.
We had some issues getting this broadhead to deploy. We're not sure what the issue was, but we shot the turkey a few times and it just wouldn't deploy. Finally, we decided to shoot it with it already deployed just so we could see what the wound cavity would be if it were operating correctly.
Please get into the comment section. We shot it a few times and couldn't get it to deploy. And then when we did get it to deploy, massive wound cavity, but it was not an easy thing to get. So this is probably not how you should send it flying through the air. All right, last but not least is the Beast Broadhead. These deploy super fast. You have these two razor-edged knives that slice out, giving you a gigantic wound cavity. Here is the Beast Broadhead.
Ooh. That one looks nasty, man.
Yeah. They're spring loaded, so it's not mechanical like the other ones. This literally has a compression spring that's triggered when it gets launched. And you have to use a tool to lock these back. We're gonna do it without slicing my fingers open. There we go. So then when you can see the spring right inside of there, when that thing gets triggered, those blades shoot out. And look at that. It gets wide back there. Look how big that wound cavity is.
Mm-hmm.
That's all four.
Next, we took the same arrows and we shot them into the QuivAR AR 3D targets to see if we'd get similar results, and also so we could see this 3D rendering of how the arrow would perform hitting, the important vitals inside of an animal.
Ooh!
Close?
Yeah, it's close.
That one was the Archery.
Yep. They all had real similar depth of penetration. Archery Country was almost the exact same. I'm curious if this is. Yep. So the one that went in, again, the deepest was the Kudu. These are almost like exactly all three. And that, I guess that's the trade-off. Like, would you rather have a third extra penetration, or would you rather have that extra third blade to, I don't know.
Up next, we did the same tests with the mechanical broadheads to see the results, but wanted to explain a little bit about the QuivAR 3D target and what makes it so interesting.
We have this full-size elk. We see real tight grouping, and then an arrow that I was trying not to throw through my other arrows because it was partially deployed. And now I'm gonna start adding some of the anatomy. So go the skeleton, see the rib cage right here. Next, we'll add the heart, bam. Look at that, right through the heart, lovely. Add the lungs, definitely right in the lungs. You see the arrows are disappearing into the lungs. Let's see if we get this better angle, there we go. Obviously we're way north of the liver. We're missing the shoulder bones. And there's all the guts. Woo! So this one's the least. This one's the most. Let's see what the most is.
Was that the
It's that cam one that pow. Most, this guy.
that was that rage?
Yeah.
So it's the second deepest penetration on that one?
These two are almost exactly the same. This is, uh-oh. Oh. Woo!
That's that beast.
Yeah, that thing is wild. There we go. One, couple of shout outs. Archery Country, thanks for letting us borrow this new Reinhardt augmented reality. This QuivAR was amazing. And then Clear Ballistics, thank you for letting us test some stuff on that turkey. That turkey had a pretty rough day. So, mechanical versus fixed blade. Man, I don't know. We saw some giant wound cavities inside that ballistic gel. We also saw some mechanical struggle to deploy. Now, is that because we're shooting into ballistic gel and not into real anatomy? Well, ballistic gel is supposed to be identical or really, really, really similar to like the tissue of animals. Shooting on the augmented reality, the QuivAR, it was fascinating to see, the placement. It really comes down to where are you putting your arrows.
Which was your favorite out of all the mechanical ones if you've never shot with them before?
Oh, the mechanical? Dude, this beast right here, this thing, the cavity in that ballistic gel was crazy. It's also really simple to put away. When you collapse these two, you literally just like set the trigger, bam, that's it. I'm not fighting to get something, like there's not some fancy thingamajoo. It's just straightforward. I still can't figure out how to get this one down, so I'm gonna go back and work on that one. These two, they just have some angles of adjustment for you to be able to lock them down. Simple is better for me, but I also know that some of these didn't deploy every single time, and that was frustrating. I want confidence. Will this do the job? Absolutely. If that thing stays down, for sure. But when this thing pops out, we're tearing some serious flesh and creating a gigantic wound cavity.
That was definitely my favorite, that one to the beast.
Oh yeah, yeah. On the, on the fixed blade, the Kudu had the best penetration. Every single time we could see both in the QuivAR and in the ballistic gel. It's the one that went in the deepest. It only has two blades. When you're looking at the new Archery Country yet to be named prototype, like that one, in addition to has 3 blades, it also has little tiny bleeders on the inside. So when that thing hits something, it is going to create a gigantic cavity. Is the trade-off of that third length of penetration versus the wound cavity in diameter? Man, I don't know. They are both gonna do the job, but having something this big that's going 1.5 foot into something, that's pretty impressive. And so those 3-blade, super simple, very accurate. We're shooting 100 grain everything. We had really similar muzzle velocity. We had really similar feet per second on the chrono and velocity in all the arrows. Man, I think it really, really does come down to how much do you practice, how many reps are you getting every single day, and we had some really good wind today. It was blowing me, it wasn't blowing the arrows, we're too close for the arrows, but I was the one experiencing my body moving with the gust of wind. Freaking awesome. We got beautiful blue skies, thunder clouds over there, fantastic Texas day. 2 more weeks until I'm out hunting, and so from now until then, I plan on practicing every single day. Stay safe, stay free. If you like this, please subscribe, tell your friends, like and comment. And in the comment section, if you can tell us about some things like how to collapse this, would love to hear that. If you have experience with hunting with some of these, I would love to hear those stories. And if you have any feedback on how I'm shooting or any of the things that we're doing, if we could do something better, drop in there and tell us. We got thick skin and we just want to do a great job for you. So have an amazing day.